I don't typically do a lot of whiskey tastings, but there is a lot of history in this bottle right here. And that's why it's near and dear to me. We are tasting Dad's Hat Pennsylvania Rye Whiskey. And the reason I say there's a lot of history here is this is based off of old Monongahela style rye, which I knew nothing about until I was a lot older. Growing up in Pennsylvania, I never realized just how integral it was to the whiskey landscape. Before Kentucky was the bourbon capital of the world, well, the United States, because bourbon can only be made in the United States, but before Kentucky was so prominent in the whiskey world, Pennsylvania reigned supreme, and it wasn't bourbon though. It was a rye whiskey, something they called Monongahela rye. This might not necessarily be a Monongahela style rye, but it is made from someone from the area. This guy has a distillery in, I think it's Bristol, PA. And this actually is a craft whiskey of the year by Whiskey Advocate. I don't know what year it was. I think it may have been 2018 or 2019. This particular bottle is 90 proof. So we're talking 45% alcohol by volume. It is aged a minimum of 8 months according to the bottle. New oak. So new oak quarter cask barrels. Now looking at it in the color sense, you can see it's pretty dark, although it says they're quarter cask barrels. So using small barrels actually will help maybe impart a lot of the flavors and colors quicker. So that's part of the reason you would use a small cask. But, it's enough of me talking. Why don't we open this up? Yeah. Before I open it up, it's not enough of me talking. I just want to mention I am doing a project on Pennsylvania rye whiskey, kind of a documentary type, full-length film that I want to do. And if you want to know how you can either get in early or help me produce it, there's a link in the description down below. I would love any help I could get to pull this together. So check that out. All right, it's a nice cork bottle. Love the sound. Just gonna pour a little in my Glencairn. I normally like to drink without any water whatsoever. It's always a good idea later on to maybe throw a drop or two of water in there just to open up the spirit a little. It kind of kills the alcohol burn just a little bit, helps you experience some of the more subtle flavors that you wouldn't have drinking it straight. But I am no whiskey expert, but I have drank a lot of whiskey. Ooh. Nice. Very nice. Huh. Actually get baking spices on the nose. It doesn't burn. It doesn't have a real strong alcohol burn to it, which is a little surprising. It smells quite smooth. Like I said, I get that baking scent there, a little spiciness to it on the nose. That's my thought on it. Ooh, nice spice. Rye, if you're not familiar with whiskeys, rye is going to be a little spicier than a bourbon. Whereas a bourbon's 51% corn, a rye has to be 51% rye. And what you're going to get from that is a little spicierness. This has a little spicy, almost a little pepperiness on the finish. It is smooth, but there is that little burn. I'm actually getting like some dried fruits, a little bit of dried fruit flavor in there, a little pepperiness on the end. You don't taste it off the bat, but it definitely hits you. Some whiskeys, they go down real smooth, real, nice. It doesn't burn a lot, but it does kind of punch you in the face at the end with a little bit of pepperiness. So if you like spicier, this is great. This is absolutely great. It is not intended to be a sweet whiskey, something like a Maker's Mark that is a bourbon, that is a wheat-based bourbon, a very sweet type of bourbon. This is predominantly rye, which is going to give you that real nice spice flavor. It's a burn, but it's a satisfying burn. It's weird. If you can drink whiskey straight, you'll know what I'm talking about. Yeah, it burns a little bit, but it's a good burn. As weird as that may sound. I like that. I'm by far no, whiskey advocate expert to give my opinion, but that's good. I mean, it's got a real nice. I get baking spices in the beginning on the nose. It's a mild burn going down. I'm picking up on like some dried fruits, a little bit of graininess, a little bit of spiciness, and then on the finish, just absolutely kind of knocks you in the mouth a little bit with some pepperiness, some spiciness, and it has some lasting flavor. It'll stick with you for a few seconds, which is also really, really nice. That is really good. That is really good stuff. So I could see that being awarded Whiskey of the Year, without a doubt. Good stuff. So I very much enjoy. All right, but we're not done. We're not done. Like I said, I like to take a little bit and I like to drink it straight first. Second, I like to just put a little touch of water in it. It's going to pull some of that alcohol burn out of there. Just a little bit of spring water, not much. A few drops, a little splash. Splish splash. Just enough to dilute it a little bit. I would never do more than maybe half water. I don't even think I would do that much, but just enough to like kind of take some of that burn off. Ooh. There's a sweetness in there that goes along with the baking spices. I don't know if it would be like it's not quite citrusy, maybe a berry or a cherry or something along those lines. Very nice. Right along with that baking sense, almost like a cherry pie or something. Where's Warrant? Where's the band Warrant when you need them? That really alters the taste. You still get some dried fruit, but there's like something in the back that I just can't make out. A little grassy almost, but it's good. It's a good vegetal grassiness to it. Can't make that one out. I'll have to look and see what others are saying. Because sometimes I'll get it on the tip of my tongue, but then it doesn't hit me until I like read what other people were thinking about it, and then it's like, that's right, makes sense. You still get that really nice spice in the background. The finish kind of sticks with you. Good stuff. Very good stuff. Definitely recommend you check out Dad's Hat Pennsylvania rye. They make a couple different versions. There's a straight rye. I think they actually have a version. I think it's like aged in sherry casks, maybe something. Some type of wine cask it's aged in. So they have a couple different varieties that you can choose from. This is the I would say this is the great starter. It brings in around $40, under $40. I think I paid $35.99 for the bottle. So this is probably your starting point if you're new to rye whiskey. Very, very good stuff. A lot of the brands that you see, Rittenhouse Rye, Old Overholt, those brands, they all started in Pennsylvania. They've since moved on. But they all started here in Pennsylvania. This just carries on that distilling tradition using local grains. I did look up the rye mash bill on this. It's roughly 80% rye. It's a very, very high rye. And the rest of it is malted barley and a little bit of regular barley. And that is, in essence, that's kind of what a traditional Pennsylvania rye would have been. No corn, no wheat. Pretty much you're talking rye and barley. That would be what would typically compound your traditional rye whiskey. This is great. And if you're interested, you can hit subscribe down below, the bell icon. I plan on doing a cocktail next up, later on, using this Dad's Hat Pennsylvania rye. We're going to make a classic cocktail and see how it stands up. Because you may not know it, but most classic cocktails that call for bourbon originally would have taken rye. So subscribe down below to check that out. Thank you for watching this. And when it comes to whiskey tasting and drink making, remember that if this idiot can do it, so can you. Cheers. Let's pour another.